Good afternoon, respected Dr. Sheena Thomas, convener of the program, Dr. Rosewine Join, expert speaker of the day, and my dear participant. A very good afternoon and a warm welcome to all of you to this valedictory session of an international web conference, Redefining Education for Sustainable Future. It is a matter of great privilege to be here before this virtual gathering to conclude the 2 days international web conference. Over the last 2 days, we have had deep insight into several issues of redefining education. We focused on the role of education in related to current scenarios. Brief of the day. Day one, that is yesterday, we started with the inaugural session wherein Dr. Swaroop Sampath shared her experience. She is a very renowned educationist. On the same day, we organized 4 parallel tracks on different themes, and in all, 27 research papers were presented. On second day, that is the same day, today, 22 research papers were presented with different themes. And today, we have Dr. Rosewine Joy, professor in Presidency College, Bangalore. Dr. Rosewine Joy had Sustainable Development Goals Center at Presidency University, Bangalore, India. She manages projects in the area of sustainable development, youth upskilling, and livelihoods. Dr. Rosewine currently guides research scholars in the area of environmental economics and disaster risk management. She finished her PhD in economics from Cochin University of Science and Technology. Before turning to be an academician, she had a successful stint in corporate world managing projects and people in the area of finance and analytics. She worked with various MNC companies. She has presented her research work at national and international conference and published her research in a leading journals. She has also won for various awards. She is a recipient of many prestigious awards. Your presence is indeed a source of great motivation, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for a wonderful introduction. First of all, I wish to thank the organizers of this international web conference at the Bhopal School of Social Sciences on the very relevant topic, redefining education for sustainable futures. I thank them for inviting me for the valedictory speech, and it is a wonderful. It's a pleasure to join all of you to interact and understand the new research work which is happening in this area. So let me start with this with a quote from Rabindranath Tagore. The highest education is that which does not merely give us information, but makes our life in harmony with all existence. When we really look into this particular quote, we can see that this entire quote is encompassed in our topic for the day, redefining education for sustainable future. He said it is not merely information what we should be imparted in higher education, but it is it means that it is a redefining of education he is looking into. And if we are living in harmony with all existence, that means the future is sustainable. Hence, I found this quote very interesting and very apt to introduce this topic of redefining education for sustainable future. Why education is one considered as one of the major tool which we have in changing our world. And as a education is there for long. However, why we end up having redefining education is my thought when I looked into this particular heading. Why we need to redefine education? It is because We have a lot of goals we set for humanity, for our development, we are not able to achieve them in the way we want. So this has led to making us think about redefining education. Why so? So there is something wrong in our traditional way of looking at education. That is why we are forced to redefine it. So let's see what is this traditional way of education system or is. So in traditional education system, we encompass immediate material success, right? We look at the ROI. If I am spending this much money as fees, how much money I can get in the first year of my job. So we are looking many times into focusing on return on investment in education in the traditional mode. Our emphasis is immediate material success and progress rather than or not on a moral action or a long term thinking process. That is why Mahatma Gandhi once said, we assess the value of education in the same manner as we assess the value of land or of share in stock exchange market. Okay, so this shows that the way we look at education was there is something wrong there. We are looking at as an investment where we will get returns. Hence, what happened is when we had a problem, we were also becoming like a consumer of education, and our and it become very much teacher centric. The best example, whether you want example I have, if you want to recheck whether we are still in this traditional mode of education, is look into our question papers which we set, because most of us who are present here would be from education, are from education field, and I'm sure majority are from the are academicians. So just see the question paper we set. The first question in our question paper is always define something. Why we are asking that question? Because it is purely we are just trying to see what we have already designed, and we have already decided what a student should study, and we have taken it from someone and we are just sharing it. The teacher's job become a mediator, see what is there in the text and impart it. It become teacher centric. So the problem with the system is finally when we want change we were not able to make those changes. Hence in 2002 we come up with this idea education, by reassessing education the decade in 2002 we come up with a new norm: education for sustainable development. Education is an indispensable element for achieving sustainable development, because when we cannot make changes, the reason we have climate change, reason we have there is no gender parity, we still have poverty. These are issues which world is facing for a long time. Why are we not able to change it? When we really look into it, the process by which we do our things has not changed. How can we change them? We have to change our behavior. And what is one tool we have to change the human behavior? It is education. That is why the change to when we redefined education, it become focus. It the focus become changing human behavior. So, to education for sustainable development is the term which is coined to bring this change. It provides an existing vision of an interdisciplinary and learner-centered way of to empower students. It is more learner-centered, and it is interdisciplinary, and it is to make advances where based on the whatever the societal or environmental goals are there, economic goals of the is whether it can be an organization, the community, or personal, whether we can do it with a pro social and pro environmental agenda, that become the focus. Hence the major shift when we redefine education become the we can put it in three learning outcomes: creating change makers. The outcome is you bring more change makers than passive consumers. So otherwise we are giving engineering, medicine, and management so that they can earn a livelihood, right? So they are not they that is passive. Then that means that we are bringing passive consumers rather than change makers. So in this new approach, we are trying to see whether we can bring entrepreneurs, we can bring more innovators uh, for our to solve the problems of the world. Next is learn and content. Okay, in this we are looking at a problem not from one discipline perspective, but from an interdisciplinary perspective. Always one problem can be has to be viewed from different disciplines, from a social and science perspective, social as well as science perspective, and look into for a solution. For my PhD thesis, I have studied basically I valued water quality. The quality of water. Quality of water is always defined in chemical terms, in scientific terms, as biological, physical, and chemical parameters for water, right? Of water. That is water quality. I try to value it so that I have to bring in both these disciplines of chemistry and economics to find the value of that. Otherwise, I cannot solve it from a science perspective, as well as the people. Even if I or tell that I we need to reduce the ammonia content in water, uh, the farmers across the fields, the riverbeds, they are not going to listen to it. They will not understand what is this ammonia content means. So I have to bring in it has to look it from a social angle also. So this is where the education for sustainable development will come in. And the another one is the pedagogy. Pedagogy, it should be interactive and learner centric and action oriented. So that is what we require in this new defined change. So when we look into what is education in the normal terms, and now we have looked into what is education in when we look it from a sustainable point of view. I'm sure you have, in the last 2 days web conference, you have looked this topic of redefining sustainable education from different perspective. I could see from the agenda it has been looked from the policy angle, especially from the new educational policy of 2020, and also from perspective of the technology. The new in the new normal of COVID-19, we are moving to new, using technology in more in education. We also looked at the perspective of different challenges which is faced by the in this area. The perspectives, different challenges like variation in rural development, rural and non-rural location, the challenges in redefining education. We have also looked into upskilling issues. Also we have looked into future opportunities in this area while we redefine sustainable education, because you have seen that this year it is education is the most in industry, and many startups are being based on education. This because this is one thing which is going to bring a lot of changes in the way we do our transactions, right? So we have looked into various perspectives of redefining sustainable education in the last 2 days. So however, in these perspectives can be will become useful only if we can bring changes at a grassroots level. We bring new policy, we bring new technology, we try to solve various challenges like bringing more schools to rural, bringing more technology towards rural areas to solve the issues of education there. So it can only help us if it can go to the grassroots level of our social structure. To that, I think, okay, redefining the education for sustainable future is not only a perspective but is also a process. Okay, redefining itself is a process. So how can we look redefining education for a sustainable future as a process? Okay. Um, so uh, because it is by when we look at redefining education as a process, that is when it is told we can really bring changes in human behavior and step up humanity as global citizens. Today we see every human being based on various barriers, right? I'm an Indian. I'm from a particular state. I'm from this particular religion. I'm from this particular state, caste. I'm from this. I'm a woman. I am educated. I am. I am a parent. I'm not a parent. There are a lot of bifurcations and barriers through which we see every human being. See, the problem why we are not able to solve many of the complex issues which has scaled up because of globalization and many issues in education is because we are looking at it with these barriers or bifurcations. Yes, these bifurcations are very much important for us to understand the problem. But to solve the problem, we need to look at from a overall perspective. For that, every human being has to step up as global citizens beyond these barriers. This can only be done if we look redefining education as a process. So this can be done in three levels: sustainable transition, sustainable transformation, and sustainable disruption. Okay, these are the three modes of processes through which we can actually redefine education. And each perspective we have seen, from the policy angle, from the technology angle, from the uh, from the challenges angle, from the opportunity angle, can be looked from this process, further studied from this process level also. So let's see what is this three processes which I wish to leave with each one of you. The transition part, the sustainable transition, it is empowering people to make sound assessments in is the basis for desirable transition. So here people are not simply receiving knowledge, they are make assessments about it and giving feedbacks about it. There is a feedback loop on this. It is and it is more personal, and it is more place specific. It's like, I it is not the my one. I have 60 students in my class. All of them don't, even though I deliver to all the students in the same way, it is not going to be same fashion they are taking it, right? So this is a very important viewpoint when we look at it. Is a personal, education is personal, and it is also very specific. It is where and how we are receiving it. Here, we are not changing what we are in this sustainable transition. We are not changing what we are learning. So whether we are not changing any subjects what we are learning, or how the only difference is it is multi-level approach, and the implementation of socio-technological regimes are coming into picture in this. You can find examples of this in all those perspectives which you discussed, like policy. We have a new structure in school education, right? It is not like before 10th standard was the most important one. Now it become 12th standard. So the structure has changed. Then in the new corona situation, what happened? We all become leads to a new normal in our education system. We all move to online. So we are bringing technology into it. And the example of Byju's. Okay, by what is Byju's? If you really look into that structure, it's an app which is used to teach students in addition to their school teaching, which is actually our tuitions which were used to happen in every place. No, it become an app if you really look it from that. So that process of that perspective of teaching, he changed. So so with technology, with policies, with this new social order, we may make some transitions in the way we redefine education. So that is the first way of redefining. It is sustainable transitions. Either how sustainable are these modes? We need to find out, because these are all new things. Okay, so second one is sustainable transformation. So, what is this transformation all about? Comparing to transition, it's just Otherwise, the teaching institutions, whether we are doing it online or offline, teaching institutions are basically doing the same thing, whether it is Byju's or any other white hat. We are transferring knowledge. They are simply transferring the knowledge which is existing there. It is whether it is able to or I mean they are still developed. I could see my daughter is also taking some of these courses. I can see that they are also upgrading themselves for simply not transferring knowledge but to this level of transformations. We can see that the knowledge and reflection these institutions which our university or any it can be a private organization, they should become institutions developing critical thinking. That is where sustainable transformation come into picture. Okay, it is not more it's a conformative or reformative learning, it is transformative learning, and it is on a higher order. It means it is on a higher order. This required basically redesigning your own disciplines. Okay, it is not the it is um, the order which we are seeing in the textbook is it's the same thing which we follow. It is I mean, and I going into online. It is only transition. I'm not making any transformational changing. Am I redesigning my own disciplines according to the students' background, according to the interest of the students, what their aspirations are? Am I redesigning my course? And how to there are whether we are bringing the multicultural vision into each subject. The way I look at and with somebody else, somebody from a different or different background look at will be different. Are we trying to incorporate all these things into our field of study? Okay, and also are we in a position to reflect on what we are, the students are in a position to reflect on what we teach and come up with uh, critical arguments on the assumptions we made. If you really, I'm a basically an economist, our theories are based on assumptions mainly, and any theories are based on various assumptions. Have you find any of your student coming up and contradicting to these assumptions and say this could be also this way? Then means that you have ignited some kind of transformative thinking into this child. And if we can bring in such kind of changes, then we are redefining the education. So and the uh, so it has integration of theory and practice. It has also when we transform, we need to also look at the ethical grounds of that, whether it is for the good for the society as a whole or for just an individual. And it is adopting a critical thinking. Okay, and is it allowing interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary approaches in our in our disciplines? Then it can be considered as transformative. So this is another process in redefining education for future. Another the most relevant and the new one in the on the card is sustainable disruption. Disruption is always looked into as from a negative point of view, but it has also a positive way of thinking. Is like we have seen many technology evolving while other technology moving out, right? So if we in the future there is a one saying by John Scully, as he says the future belongs to those who see possibilities before they become obvious. So if you can see, that is the essence of disruptive thinking. Okay, so in disruptive thinking, we are seeing the possibilities much before it become obvious, and we create simultaneously innovate across multiple technologies and adopt multiple approaches. It is not one technology who is going to solve your problem. It can be multiple technologies who can solve the problem. Sometimes when you do a lab session in online, it can also disruptive thinking can also evolve. Sometimes they use laptop and mobile, they look into listen to your discussions on mobile, and they do some coding. Because I take analytics paper, they do their analytics on the laptop. So it can be using multiple technologies. Also this has evolved. Do you have bandwidth for that? Is it evolving? Then we can say that it is disruptive. So another one is of redefining education. That is what we need to look into from each perspective, which can bring us more bring more and more knowledge in how to evolve this evolve education into a better way. So with these three possibilities, I leave it to you. Each of the whatever perspective we looked into International Web Conference could be studied from these three processes for redefining education, and this could actually add additional value in bringing education towards education as a way forward for sustainable future. So that is all from my end, and thank you so much for once again I thank the Bhopal School of Social Sciences for inviting me for the valedictory speech, and especially I thank Dr. Sheena Thomas for inviting me, and all the team, all her team who is organizing this wonderful conference. And if you wish to reach out to me, you can also reach out to me. I'll just put my email address in the chat. So in case if you want to talk, reach out, you can definitely reach out to me, and for any aspects. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sheena. I just to the team, just on time 2:35. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure listening to you, and you have summed up the International Web Conference of 2 days in a beautiful manner. And the message I take from here is redefining is a process. And I'm so happy that in a small way, we have initiated this thought process through this international conference of redefining education, at least through a thought process. We would be thinking, and you have summed it beautifully. I'll take your words: sustainable transition, sustainable transformation, and sustainable disruption. So we leave the audience with this beautiful thought of redefining education in their own ways. We as educators are a huge agents of change, and we should use this power of change and bring about change in the society in own little ways. Now, I think all those who have joined with us are definitely awaiting the track responses, or who has got or who has bagged the best paper award. Definitely, they are people in anticipation, and I will not keep you waiting more. So I will just share the screen, but I am yet not sharing or disclosing the people who have bagged the best paper award. So would like, since it's a valedictory session, we'll just like to conclude our first session. We had four parallel tracks on day one. The first track was on global issues in education, building good foundation. This was chaired by Ms. Zainab Haider Razavi from New Zealand. The second parallel track same day was on education in India, preparing for sustainable future in the light of NEP 2020. This was chaired by Professor Ashish Srivastava from Mahatma Gandhi Central University, Motihari, Bihar. The third parallel track on day one was in education in rural and remote areas, chaired by Professor Hemant Khandai from Barkatullah University, Bhopal. The fourth parallel track on day one was reskilling for better placement opportunities, chaired by Professor Anshu Mathur from Amity University, Noida. We were really privileged to have the participation of all the eminent resource persons, and a very special thanks to all the people who contributed with their papers and presented on those particular tracks. Day two, that is today, we again had four parallel tracks. The first parallel track being environmental sustainability, chaired by Mr. Loken Thakkar, the General Manager of Sustainable Development Cell at EPCO Bhopal. The second parallel track was on emerging research areas in higher education, chaired by Professor Ratnamala Arya, Regional Institute of Education, Bhopal. The third track, Education 4.0, expert speaker and chaired by Professor Alok Gadia from Banaras Hindu University. And the fourth parallel track was on emerging trends in science and technology, chaired by Professor Amit Dubey from Manit Bhopal. So wonderful tracks, wonderful resource persons, and wonderful paper presentations from across the globe. And in our own small way, we have made all possible efforts of reaching out, and you have really helped us to make this a successful event. Now, without keeping you waiting, I would announce the track, the people who bagged the best paper award in these particular tracks. So day one, for the first parallel track, first track, we have Dr. Rachita Gupta, who is awarded as the best paper awardee for this track. I should hear the virtual applause, and I think it's a huge thumbs up to Rachita ma'am. Rachita ma'am, you can unmute if you are listening to me. Uh,
Yes, definitely, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am, and for the wonderful opportunity. And there's one error I wanted to rectify. I'm still not a doctor. I'm pursuing my PhD in education right now.
Fine, fine. So thank you so much. Indeed, it
Thank you
was
so
a
much,
very
ma'am.
good presentation, and you've been awarded as the best paper for that track. The
Thank
second,
you, ma'am.
thank you. The second track best paper award goes to Dr. Anamika Srivastava. Dr. Anamika Srivastava, if you're here, you can feel euphoric, else I'll reach out to you and give you the message. The third track best paper awardee goes to Dr. Manjushri Chanderi. Dr. Manjushri Chanderi, if you're there, a big congratulations to you, and you can unmute and share your thoughts. Dr. Manjushri.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Just like Rachita, I'm still not a doctor. I'm pursuing it. Will be submitting, and I am with Dr. Agnihotri. I thank Dr. Father John, Dr. Sheena Thomas, and her team for inviting me. I really appreciate the entire international conference. Thank you so much again. Thank you.
Congratulations, many congratulations, Manjushri ma'am. And you people have been modest and humble enough to say that you're not doctors, but you are already contributing a lot by your thought process, and you are doctors in the making, not far away from being a doctor. So we wish you in advance all the best, and many congratulations for the same. The fourth track, the fourth parallel track, the best award goes to Dr. Shumaila Hassan. Dr. Shumaila Hassan, and I know she's a doctor. So Dr. Shumaila, if you are listening to me,
Yeah, thank you so
share
much,
your thoughts.
ma'am. Thank you so much, the entire education department, for providing all of us for this platform to share our views on something which is such an emerging topic. I'm really humbled. Thank you, Anshu ma'am, for considering the paper worth this title. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All the euphoria goes to you for your hard work, for putting in your time and energy for preparing such a wonderful paper. And all those who bagged the best papers actually deserve it. And we had a very scientific process of nominating the best paper award. The best paper award were decided by the track in charges, parallel to the resource persons or the experts who were chairing those sessions. It has been a very scientific process, and if you have bagged the best paper award, so definitely your paper was worth it, and you really deserve it. So many
Thank
congratulations
you.
to all the teacher awardees from day one. Let's move on
Thank
to day two. Let's move on to day two. And for the first parallel track, that is on environmental sustainability, that was backed by Ms. Gyaneshwari Kurmi. Ms. Gyaneshwari Kurmi. Gyaneshwari, if you're there, uh,
Oh, thank you so much. It's unexpected, really, because I've just presented my PhD topic only, and I'm right now PhD scholar from Regional Institute of Education under Dr. Ansi Oja, sir. So I'm very glad to know about my name. Thank you so much, Sheena ma'am, and all the BSS team. Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am. Gyaneshwari, so you can make your guide also proud, and you're in the right way. If you're presented your PhD topic, your PhD in the right direction. So many congratulations to you,
Thank
Gyaneshwari,
you
for
so much.
putting up such a wonderful paper. The second parallel track, the best paper awardee goes to Dr. Ankita Rajiv and Dr. Smita Ramchandran. Dr. Ankita Rajiv and
Hi,
Dr.
hi. This is
Smita
Dr.
Ramchandran.
Ankita Rajdev.
Yes, Dr. Ankita, would you like to share something on how?
Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity. I must say, as I've already said in my session also, that I am an alumni of BSS. So it's my pleasure to get an award from BSS. I mean, it's so happy. Apart from it, I must share that the entire the session of mine was so enriching, and apart from my paper, I've got so many other ideas which I can pursue my PhD. So that's the best part. I like that I've got so many ideas, and the speaker was so enriching in their knowledge. So I'm so thankful for giving us the opportunity.
I'm so happy to learn that you had many takeaways from your session as well as overall from this International Web Conference. Thank you so
Yes,
much, Ankita.
thank you.
Proud alumnus of the Bhopal School of Social Science.
Thank you.
From the third parallel track of day 2, the best paper award goes to Miss Arnav Tahir Hashmi. Miss Arnav Tahir Hashmi.
Yes,
Arnav,
ma'am,
are
I'm
you
here.
there? Okay, you're
Yes,
there?
ma'am, I am.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I'm really honored. This was really unexpected. I can't express how happy I am. I'm at initial stage of my PhD, and this is something like very unexpected. Thank you so much. Thank you to the entire team of BSS.
No, you deserve it, and your voice, gives me tremors as well. That you're so elated, and we are there joined with you in praising you for what you have done. You put up a very good paper. I personally heard to your paper presentation. It was awesome. It was really very good. So many congratulations. Keep up the good work, and
Thank
do
you
stay
so much,
connected
ma'am.
with us. And the fourth parallel track, the best award for the paper presentation goes to Dr. Rakhi Chitnis. Dr. Rakhi Chitnis. Dr. Rakhi Chitnis.
Hello, good evening, ma'am. Thank you so much. I'm Raki here.
Yes.
It's a great privilege, and thank you so much once again. Last year also I was there. It was great experience when physically I was there in the campus. But today again I experienced the same enthusiasm working with the team. Thank you so much once again, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, that you have joined and collaborated in all our events and helped us out by, contributing with good papers. So I was
Thank you.
not wrong when I said that, all the anticipators of the best paper award would be there. And I think all of you were there because you also anticipated that you are going to bag the best paper. So the hypothesis proves right. And thank you for joining in for this valedictory session. And I leave you with this thought that through this organizing this International Web Conference, one thing what I felt is really we've become a global village, and we are able to transact and bring people closer. So in terms of resource persons, we were joined by eminent resource persons across India and around the world, and we had participants across the globe presenting their papers. So happy to note that yes, technology has brought us closer, and in these pandemic times also we were able to put up a platform like this, and there were people who took it very positively and responded very positively. Thank you so much. Over to Ma'am Tanuja for the final vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. It has been our pleasure to host this web conference. All the participants were very enthusiastic. I am thankful to all the participants of their participation. We have been fortunate to have some of the eminent persons from various renowned educational institutes. I am sure that the participants must have benefited by attending this conference. I am very much thankful to the UGC for sponsoring this conference. I express my heartfelt gratitude to Father Dr. John PJ, Principal BSSS, for his contribution, support, and motivation. My thanks goes to all the expert speakers for kindly accepting our invitation and chairing the tracks, especially Dr. Anshu Mathur for going beyond and helping us to get good papers from the researchers. I also thanks to the organizing committee for their hard work and efforts toward organizing this event. And I also thanks to Dr. Sheba Joseph, IQAC Coordinator, BSSS, for her inspiring mentorship. Last but not the least, I am also thankful to BSS IT team, especially Mr. Anand Paul and Eugene, for providing us all the logistic support. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. That calls us to the wrap of this session. And thank you so much, Dr. Rosevine, from joining us all the way from Presidency University. And I know this is not the first and the last. We will stay connected and we will collaborate on important topics. Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you.
Ma'am.